Hello, my name is Lauren Vicker. I'm a communications professor emeritus at St. John Fisher College in Rochester, New York, and it is my pleasure to be able to introduce the plenary speakers for the 2022 TBLC Conference. The first speaker I'm going to introduce is Dr. Larry Michelson. Dr. Michelson will be delivering a plenary address to the 2022 TBLC National Conference. The title is Lessons Learned from 40 Years in the TBL Trenches, and I'm sure he's going to have a lot of lessons to share with us. So welcome, Dr. Larry Michelson.
Well, thank you.
And thank you for taking the time to join us today. Could you tell us a little bit about what you'll be covering and what some of the participants might be able to expect?
Yeah, there will be some of it that will be sort of my talking about some of the things that happened to me as I got into this thing and tried to do this in this large class. And there were 2 or 3 instances where I had very big aha moments and needed to make changes. And then there were others where the students would suggest something, or something would come to my mind about, what if I tweaked and did this? And I learned, so I'd try it. I was always in it, trying new things. And most of them, ironically, actually worked and worked better. And I had a way to track how well they were working because I had the scores that were coming out of these activities and groups. And as any team-based learning instructor knows, you get so much good feedback from the groups. If it doesn't work, you know it. If it works, you know it, because you're responding to them most of the time. It's not you doing stuff, it's them doing stuff, and then you're responding to them. And so I have a number of those personal stories. But the other thing that I think is going to be even more interesting, I think, to them is over the years, I have encountered various people in various places all around the world who have had an event occur in their teaching that has just been so striking that everybody in the world needs to know about it, because there's a lesson in it for all of us. And I've run into those in so many different places. And so I've contacted, and in the process of contacting, probably 20 or more people where I know an event that happened that teaches a lesson, and I'm going to ask them to describe that in a short video. And I'm going to play that, and then play it in the context of the way that lesson, what that lesson they learned taught me. And I'm excited about it, actually.
So you're going to talk about some of your aha moments and then share some from other people.
From other people, and how it became an aha moment for me as well.
Were all of these related to, specifically to team-based learning, or were they sometimes things that happened outside of that framework? Well,
there are examples where the aha moment came for them from something that happened to their students outside of the class, and reporting on their experience with the material and the experiences they'd had in class and the way it affected what was going on outside of class. Some of that, and those are really neat. But most of it is things that happened as they watched their students, and when they ran an activity, something happened that was really unusual, and what the consequence of that was in terms of it changed their own teaching, and it changed the experience of what happens to the students. And not only in that class, but in a couple of cases, it was early in a medical, one of them that I'm coming to mind is early in a medical school program, something that happened that changed the entire medical school program for an entire medical class.
Wow.
Because of the one event that happened in one application activity.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
And another one is I'll probably talk about 2 or 3 individual students who their situation might be parallel to some that others will encounter either, and how the team-based learning gave them an opportunity to learn lessons and me an opportunity to learn lessons that you just couldn't get in any other way that I can think of, that were so important for them in their future.
Right. Oh, wow. That sounds, wow, you've really whet my appetite now for hearing more about that.
If I have any advice to anybody, it's just trust the process.
Trust the process.
If you follow it, it just is so consistently produces the outcomes you want.
Mm-hmm.
And probably in my talk, I'm going to talk about a little bit about why that is. That why does this process do so consistently produce the outcomes you want? Mm-hmm. And it's not always obvious to people why it's happening, but I'll probably spend a little time kind of at least offering my suggestions as to why that occurs.
Excellent. So giving us even more to look forward to the conference. So Dr. Larry Michelson, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us a little insight into what you're going to be talking about at the conference.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to do it.